Making news this week, protesters in Perth called on Afghan government to rescue 31 abducted Hazaras.
And Australians get ready to remember 100 years of the Anzacs.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Leung and Danielle Staniskov.
Good evening. We begin with a demonstration in Perth standing against abductions by militants in Afghanistan. 31 Hazara people were allegedly kidnapped in Kabul, but the Afghan government has remained silent. Danielle Edwards reports.
Close to 70 people protested to raise awareness of the Hazara abductions in Afghanistan. During the rally, the rain was heavy, but the spirit remained strong.
Towards the plight of Afghan asylum seekers.
So the main purpose of this protest is to just raise our voice for the people who are kidnapped in Afghanistan. And the people and the government in Afghanistan, they don't raise their voice for this one, and they are paying no attention.
The protesters called on world leaders to put pressure on the Afghan government to ensure safety of the Hazara people. Green Senator Rachel Stewart said the lack of help from other countries is a disgrace.
It is outrageous that governments around the world do nothing and continue to do nothing, and in fact continue to persecute people that are fleeing oppression and persecution.
More than 60 Hazaras were abducted in Afghanistan, and their location remains unknown. The Islamic State terror group and the Taliban are believed to be the perpetrators behind the abductions. Danielle Edwards, WAMN News.
The 100th anniversary of the Anzac's landing in Gallipoli is on 25th of April. This is a historical event for the country. So what do the younger generations think about this important milestone? Helene Fung went to find out.
This year's Anzac Day marks the 100th anniversary since the Anzac Gallipoli landing. But given it was so long ago, do today's young people think that Anzac Day celebrations are still relevant?
It's very important for young people that are Australian to know what people like in our past have gone through, and to see that how lucky we are now that we don't have to do things like that and make those sacrifices.
Yes, because we have to celebrate like the Anzacs and like the soldiers going to fight for us. So I think it's very relevant.
This does not surprise the president of the Return and Services League, Graham Edwards.
I think these days, of course, young people can grow up with an expectation that they will not be going to war. But that doesn't mean to say that we appreciate freedom any the less, and I think our young generations do appreciate the wonderful freedom, security and democracy that we live in Australia. Of course, the Centenary is so important to us, the RSL, and I believe to our community.
For Australians of all ages who plan to attend the Anzac Day service at Kings Park, Graham's advice is to take advantage of the free public transport and get there early, or maybe consider attending other services at your local area. Helene Fung, WAMN News.
Running a small business is a tough gig. It often involves lots of marketing and networking to pump up sales. A small networking session aiming at helping small businesses was hosted by District 32 in Woodvale this week. The event attracted 120 small business owners. A lecturer from Edith Cowan University also attended the event.
Well, marketing is everything, isn't it? It's not the best service provider who wins out there, it's the best marketer who wins, which is unfortunate because there's a lot of people out there who are very good at marketing, but when it comes to the customer service and delivery, they really fall over. So what we're really looking for are the people who have exceptional customer service and delivery, and we'll help them with the marketing.
WA Treasurer Mike Nahan has launched a scathing attack after the GST meeting in Canberra, accusing treasurers from other states and territories of being greedy. Under the current GST distribution system, Western Australia will only get 38 cents out of every dollar in iron ore royalties.
They see buckets of money and ignore the cost, and they're also profoundly jealous. They have viewed Western Australia for years as a kind of a place on the most isolated capital in the world.
I think Mr Nahan perhaps has gone off the reservation a little bit, looking around to blame other people, when ultimately the Barnett government's presided over record revenue growth.
In world news, rising Guangzhou, China has forced the local government to reverse its decision to construct an incinerator in the outskirts of the city. The story was brought to light after pictures of the demonstration went viral. Villagers have vandalized the local police station and blocked off the freeway to express their anger. The authorities later released a statement urging protesters to keep demonstrations peaceably.
And finally tonight, Rio Tinto Iron Ore executive Andrew Harding had a very different audience than what he's used to this week. About 25 kids and their parents. Mr Harding, along with Minister for Culture John Day, read from a children's book to the enthusiastic audience. They are celebrating the renewal of Rio Tinto's sponsorship of Children Literacy Program, Better Beginnings, for another 4 years, with an additional $980,000 to the program.
It's much more fun to read a book to some very appreciative 0 to 3-year-old children, but then actually to spend some time thinking about market conditions. But it's only a very short distraction. I have to get back to work and deal with the matters of the day.
And with that happy ending, that's the newscast for this week. Don't forget to subscribe or follow us for the latest happenings.
Before we leave you, a reminder that our bulletin will return after a 2-week break. Thank you all for your company. Good night, everyone.
Good night.